Here we are at the front door, but if we swing round to this side, so I'm standing above a trench that's being dug for the sewage pipe is down quite low underneath here. Surface water drainage through that hole there. One problem you can see straight away is this water running from the back to the front of the house doesn't even reach that, it just pours down through all these little holes here instead of going into the surface water drainage. This little channel that I'm standing in is theoretically the surface water drainage for everything that comes off the roof of the house, everything that leaves the house in terms of surface water, everything from all of the outbuildings, the entire back garden and some space beyond that because it slopes uphill. When it rains heavily, all comes rolling like a tidal wave towards the house and is supposed to come through this trench I'm standing in. Most of it, of course, just goes under the house. Okay, working towards the back of the house. This is the channel that everything from the back comes to the front down. You can see that it's got a massive crack in it there, it's all up here. So obviously a key priority is to fix all of that so any water from the back will actually drain through it properly. This little path we've just walked down, this very rough path, is where the sewage pipe is underground there, under this path we walked. Roughly where this boot is so daintily positioned, about 18 inches below that is a square chamber where sewage coming this way underground meets wastewater from the kitchen and then goes to the sewer. Walking through one of the outbuildings. When the camera is adjusted to the light, you can see here is where the sewage pipe is under the concrete here. It's down about a foot at a guess. And here is the end of a trench that is supposed to direct surface water around the side of the house and to the front. As we've just seen, it never reaches the front, it just drains under the house. This wall here is actually the back corner of the house. Right there. So this bit is an extension. This is all an extension we're standing on. Here we are at the glorious back of the house, kitchen. As you can see, the roof goes all the way across, same as the front. It did have some guttering there that drained off to the left. I pulled that up because it looked like asbestos, but of course I didn't replace it. Looking up still, Mandy, you're going to be looking into the sun if you go too far around. This little wall is a flat roof above an outbuilding here. Hideous mess, it all runs through in the winter when it rains and drips down over everything. But a lot of that water drains to a water vat at the front, which then overflows, and that water joins all the surface water running. This gutter went to a little square basin collecting that corner, and this black pipe directed it to a storage butt at the back of the house for use in the garden. Of course, as soon as it rains heavily, which it does in the winter, that storage butt overflows and the water majestically comes along the patio and ends up back in this gutter again. So looking up the garden again, Mandy, looks nice and dry at the moment. In the winter, it rains heavily enough for the water to actually run down that garden straight off this step, flow across the patio. So we're talking about an awful lot of surface water drains to one point in the end. Yep. In theory, there's a little trench under Mandy's wonderful chilies. That's the extension of that little ditch that you saw in the outbuilding, and this water runs off. In practice, there is a broken up low point around this corner here, so an awful lot of it goes through the floor there instead of running that way. I'm thinking that at some point we need to put a sensible drain in this corner, but we need to work out how it drains. Side of the house, there's not a lot of water gets down here, but we need to get rid of some of this and sort out a sensible way of draining it off to the front of the house and out, possibly out that other little pipe to the left in the very first view of the house we pointed out. Let's stop that there.